I'm standing in the back of the cell. She was like, boy, I ain't got all day. Come on. And started unbuckling her pants. As she walked to me, I set the mat back down on the floor. She got down, turned, tooted up. I looked down. I said, in the penitentiary?
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
What does this chick look like?
She was nice.
No.
I kid you not. I want to say her name. I've been wanting to say it for years. I promise you I have. She was a nice build. I ain't even gonna lie. But when I was like, there's cat in my cell. This on top of this. I was like, before you knew it, and it was going down. Like it was literally going down. We got finished. She got up. I got back up and stood back, pulled my still scared. And she walked out of the cell. When she closed the door, she didn't lock it. She just pushed it up. She was like, I'm gonna let you back out. And she walked off. And my thought was, cut the lights off, lay down, act like you sleep. So I did just that. Boom, cut the lights off. I lay down. I'm chilling. And I heard, I knew it was one door. And she buzzed them both. And I rose up. And I was like, she buzzed both of them doors. I know I ain't tripping. And I just barely tapped the door. Boom. The door swung open. I was gone. I came through the door. Boom, boom. By the time I came out the door and getting ready to go to the door outside, she's like, oh my God. I pushed her out the way and took out running downhill. I started tumbling and I bounced up. And when I bounced up, I turned around and the officer who was sitting there and told him buzz me in, he was standing at the top of the hill. He said the same thing every person who ever chased me said, Joe, don't do it. Do the remainder of the balance. Thank you. And I was like, well, I got up. It probably was the longest walk I ever had in my life back to the unit, just thinking of everything. Like, it was a scripture, which is one of my favorites. It said, when a man ways please the Most High, it makes even his enemies be at peace with him. And I said, I got a lot of enemies. I need this scripture to be real. In my life, I robbed a lot of people. I hurt a lot of people. I shot a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of things. I need my enemies to be at peace with me. And so I said, I gotta at least try to do this different, and I don't got no regrets. I really don't. And it ain't even about the things that I have, man. It ain't about the home or the car. It ain't about none of that. It's what I have here. What I have here, the stability and the peace that I have and the life that I have, the people that I'm surrounded by, like, it amazes me because I would never have been able to fathom this in the life that I live. I didn't even think this is possible. I used to always say when I spoke, I thought everybody was living like me. And I meant it from the bottom of my heart. You couldn't convince me people were making an honest living. And you couldn't convince me that everybody wasn't selling drugs or doing drugs or robbing or scamming or doing something. Everybody I knew was. Everybody I was around. Everything was the life. So getting a taste of what I have now is, I'm going to be real. It's like, bro, it's like, I tell you before, it's like I'm dead somewhere and I'm having an out of body experience. That's the best way I can explain it. It's like I'm somewhere in a coma waiting to wake up and say, I knew it had to have been a dream. And I mean that. It's that real. Like, my life is that peaceful. I've said before, when I go, I want to go empty. If anything was to happen to me, if I had to lay on my deathbed and they told me I had 3 days left, I wouldn't sit there and feel like it ain't something that I didn't do. Everything I thought of, I tried it. I did it. If it didn't work, I tried something else. If I go, I'll go empty. And that's what I feel. And I contribute a lot of that to prison, but I contribute more of it based on the environment that I grew up in. People will think it's prison. I saw it. Prison allowed me to really get in a space to say, okay, we can switch up something somewhere, because now you had a time to sit. I've been seeing it, but when you seeing it and in it, it's hard to get out of it. Everybody drug dealers. Nobody's married. Nobody's in healthy relationships. Nobody's teaching real things. Nobody has financial literacy. Who do I go to for that? Who do I talk to? Who can show me something different? Prison allowed a time at some point of saying, you can't keep doing that, to start trying to readjust this. And then coming home after 10 years and seeing how everybody's in the same condition. No. So I would say that's where it started realizing it's got to be more to life. And right now I have that. I have the more to life. Indian girl started working at the prison and everybody trying to get her attention. She would come in our unit. When I looked out the window, my dad said, who is it? I said, it's a girl. My daddy got up and looked. I said, I'm going to get her. He said, man, you ain't going to get her. I said, what is he? I'm going to show you. I'm going to get her. 2-3 weeks, I don't say nothing to her when she first at all. I don't go talk to her. I don't look at her, nothing. When she come around, walk, I go in the cell. I get out of work one day and I'm going to get some ice. And as I'm walking to get the ice, she was like, hey, you. And I just kind of looked at her and she was like, yeah, you. She was like, why? You don't never come out. You don't never come talk to me. I said, ain't nothing worth coming out here looking at. I said, and I kept walking. And as I go and get the ice, I walking back and now she done got out of the chair and she's standing like in front of the cage. She was like, who's your cellie? And I was like, she was like, y'all got the same name. I was like, that's my daddy. And she was like, really? How? She in her eyes, at this point, you don't become very manipulative on top of already learning how to be manipulative. The look in her eye she was intrigued. It was something different other than, and it was, you in the cell with your daddy. So she started asking questions. So then we started talking 2-3 weeks. Go to the shower. She come and stand by the shower, watching me, looking me up and down, all this old type of stuff. I would put the Muslim oil on, smelling good. She asked me where I get the Muslim oil. I'm cooking stuff. She asked me about the meals. I'm explaining stuff. Like you could tell she intrigued about all of this stuff. Then she started asking about my daddy. She's like, your dad never speaks to me. Like he'll look. And I was like, yeah, he's convict. Dad had been locked up 30 some years. 30 years? Like how? She was asking me how old I was. How old was you? And she was and so one day I walked up to her. My daddy don't know this. We got a cell phone, but we don't keep it in the cell. We never keep it in the cell. I write the number down and I go downstairs and I tell her, I say, look, what I'm about to say, you just let it go in one ear and out the other if you don't like what I say. She was like, okay, what is it? I said, what if there was a way we can talk outside of here? She was like, what you mean? I said, you know exactly what I mean. I said, remember what I said at first. I said, if you catch what I'm saying and you don't like it, let's just act like we never had this conversation. She was just kind of looking like she wanted to answer, but she wasn't sure if I was trying to set her up. I said, don't say nothing. I said, in the staff bathroom, because that's where our toilet paper was at, we can go in there and get toilet paper. I said, I went in there to get toilet paper. I said, I taped a piece of paper under the sink in the staff bathroom. I said, I'm going to walk off. I said, I ain't going to talk to you the rest of the day. I said, you go in there, you get that piece of tape. I said, you can hit me blocked. And she was like, and I walked off. So I go in the cell. I said, hey, Dad, I said, I'm going to keep the phone in the cell. He said, and if they come in here and get your phone, you know you're going to take their charge. I said, you got 2 life sentences. I ain't taking no charges. You taking all the charges. So he was like, you sure? I said, yeah. I said, we won't keep. I said, I'm gonna keep the phone tonight. I said, he said, we ain't gonna do that no more. I said, all right, cool. So we keep the phone. They doing lockdown. She closing the door. Doom. And he was like, you sure? I said, yeah, I'm good. She come to the door, opens our door, and do me like this, and winks and close the door. Soon as she closed the door, my daddy stands straight up. What the hell was that?
All right.
I don't know. I think she liked me. He said, boy, don't you have them police brother? I said, man, we good. He said, all right. I still didn't tell him why I'm keeping the phone. I wait till she leave. I'm looking out the back window. She kind of waves as she leaving. It don't air all the inmates on the back window waving, so you don't know who she waving at. But to me, she waving me. I know she got the number. So she get to the parking lot. And I'm thinking, she getting out. I'm waiting this about 30 minutes. I said, hey, Dad, I said, I'm gonna tell you something. He said, what's up? I said, look, man, I gave her the number. He said, do what? He stand up again. He said, what you say? I said, I gave her the number. She gonna call me block. I said, I told you I was gonna get her. He said, go on, pack your stuff up, boo. Go on, get your stuff. Go on, pack your stuff up. I said, for what? He said, if they call that phone, it won't be to talk to you. It'll be to verify that phone is in here.
Right.
And when they verify it's in here, they gonna come in here. They gonna get it. And you gonna say it's yours. And you gonna you gonna go to the hole. When you get out, I get you back down here, but you go in the hole tonight. I said, I don't believe that. He said, all right, well, see what I tell you. I said, I told you I was gonna get her. So we sitting there. He was like, she ain't called yet? I said, no. By that time, I got the phone under the pillow where I can see it. It light up. It's blocked. He see it because the crack of his bed. He see the light. He stand up. Go answer it. I said, he said, that's the green team. He said, I promise you, soon as you say hello, they gonna run in there. I said, I don't believe. He said, well, go on answer then. I don't answer it. She called back again for about 5 minutes. Block. I answered.